Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're going to have the webinar How to Generate a Profitable Business with Odoo. So, let's get started.
Yep. And let's start with some introductions. My name is Kaleem Khan. I'm one of the partnership team leads here at Odoo Inc. And oftentimes I'm working with new partners, helping them understand the mechanics of the Odoo partnership program and helping them understand how to start their first project.
Perfect. My name is Alejandro Ramirez, or Alex. I am Partner Marketing Manager. It's a quite new role here at Odoo San Francisco, where my role basically is help the partners to generate marketing strategies to get leads or opportunities.
Yep. And right now you can see our contacts on the screen here. So if you ever need to contact us, feel free to shoot us a message or even give us a call.
Perfect.
So let's focus on our agenda for today. We're going to talk about four essentially key items. We're going to first focus on the opportunities in North America. We're going to then follow that by going into a market analysis by industries. We will then go and shift our focus more towards partnerships. We're going to first deal with a partnership roadmap and then take a deeper dive into a partnership with Odoo. So without further ado, let's get started.
Perfect. Okay, something important. We're going to share with you some interesting insights, some info regarding North America. So this is a market analysis for North America. So please stay until the end of the webinar. If you'd like to get the slides, we will have a form where you can leave us our QR code, where you can leave us your information, and we will send you the slides.
Yep.
So with that said, let's get started, Kali.
So before we take a deeper dive into talking about Odoo, the market analysis, we need to understand the market as a whole for ERPs. Now, we focus on North America here, and North America is actually 1/3 of the global ERP market. It's a huge chunk. And we're even predicting that the ERP market in North America will cross $40 billion by 2030, which is not that far away. We've seen about 9.5% growth year over year, and 75% of this market will be SaaS. And there's a few reasons for that. Specifically in North America, we've always had a pretty mature ecosystem of partners, so a lot of companies that can provide services. We also have the highest concentration of enterprise clients here in North America. And lastly, North America has been some of the most open adopters of cloud technology. And that's why you're seeing softwares like Odoo become very successful here. Not only can we be on cloud, but we can even be on premise, but we provide a all-in-one beautiful solution. We focus on a few key items here. We are going to be open source. We're going to be fairly priced, probably one of the most affordable ERPs on the market. And we really focus on user friendliness. We want our software to be a software your team can not only utilize, but love using every single day.
Perfect. And with that said, let's start with the market analysis. We're going to start with United States. We're going to show you what's going on in the Odoo ecosystem. We're going to talk about market demand. Where is the demand coming from? We're going to talk about the deals for subscriptions. And we're going to talk about growth opportunities in different industries and in United States. So let's jump on it. First of all, here are the top 10 states by lead generated. The states that are looking for Odoo the most. On first place, we have California, where 14% of our leads, they're from the states. Then we have Texas, Florida, New York, and Pennsylvania. Those are the top 5. Something interesting here is that these are the states that will receive the most leads. However, if we compare 2024 versus 2025, we have seen an increase of 54% of leads. Technically, 54% of more people interested in getting Odoo, getting a free trial, getting to know what's going on with Odoo. Yep. And let's jump into industries, Khalid.
Yep, and let's focus on the top 5 industries we see here. And this is taken directly from the Odoo CRM. What we're going to see across the board, that wholesale and retail is our number 1 industry. We generate about 1 in 8 leads in this sector here, equivalent to about 12%. So it's been one of the largest shares of US demand. Number 2, you see construction and renovation, equivalent to about 9% of all the leads we generate, about 1 in 11. So this would be our second largest share for the US. And it's pretty obvious why. With construction and renovation, Odoo can handle project management, inventory, accounting, estimating, you name it. Third, we see manufacturing and maintenance. And this is something I've seen across all the market analysis, Alex. Manufacturing has been a consistent industry with not only really high year-over-year growth, but has always been steadily in demand. And there's a reason for that too, as we'll talk about later. Number four, you're going to see IT, communication, and marketing, equivalent to about 5% of all the leads we generate. Still pretty high volume, but this is a market that I've seen consistently becoming more and more mature. And then lastly, we look at finance, legal, and insurance. This is relatively a small market compared to wholesale and retail, but it's one that's accelerating significantly. We've seen about 58% year over year growth for this industry specifically. So, right now, again, these are your top 5 industries across North America. And now let's look at the top 10 states with the most subs. Now you're going to see a comparison here where California, Florida, Texas, and New York are going to be our top 4 most states that had the most leads, but also the most subs. So California is about 13.6% of all our subs, followed by Florida, roughly about 12% of our subs. Texas about 11, and New York at about 6. But let's not forget, you have Pennsylvania, Illinois, Michigan. All of these states are still part of our top 10 states. And even though you're seeing on the screen here a lot of gray, you have a lot of industries and businesses in the Midwest, in the central part of the United States that are looking for softwares like Odoo. So even though they're not making our top 10 states, there's still a lot of demand there. But the focus has always been on California, Florida, and Texas.
Now let's talk about industries with subscription. So we started with leads. Where are we generating most demand? What are the industries that are looking for Odoo? Now we're talking about the industries that they are buying Odoo. In the United States, 18% of the subscriptions that we have, they are in the manufacturing and maintenance. Makes sense? The most established vertical, high renewal rate. And here's what we call the clients are sticky, or we have sticky partners. Why? Because normally when we have this type of industries, we need people with experience in the workflows, in the processes. So it's not just as an out of the box implementation. We need consultants, we need partners that they actually get to know the business and the workflows. However, wholesale and retail, we have 17% of the subscriptions in the United States. It's just 1%. Wholesale and retail is the one that we have more leads, but it's the second one that we have more subscription. So that's also another interesting industry that we should work with. Any company buying, managing warehouses or managing stock and selling will be interesting for here. Hardware stores, logistic, any company that has a warehouse that they need to move everything there. IT, communication, marketing, 8%. Here we talk about professional services. People that they want to get to know the margin, the cost per hour, if their projects are profitable or if not. This is another interesting industry. Construction renovation. I have always think that construction renovation is one of the most underestimated industries. Why? Because this is an industry that they need to have a lot of control regarding the money, regarding the cash flow. And that's one of the industries that we generate the most leads. However, it's top 4 of the industries with subscription. So here we have a gap and an opportunity. And last but not least, health and social welfare, 5.1%. That will be our top 5 industry with more subscription. We start with demand, now with subscriptions that we have. Therefore, actual clients.
Yep. And speaking a little bit more about this gap that Alex was talking about, as you guys were able to see, we compared leads to actual subscriptions. So then you guys can make that correlation where you see industries that are generating a lot of leads, but maybe they're not closing as many subscriptions. This could be a vital opportunity for partners like you who have the specialties to close those types of clients. Maybe you guys are able to develop on top of Odoo and bring Odoo to the next level for that specific sector. Or maybe there's industries that we are able to not generate as many leads, but we're able to close them a lot.
Yep.
This could be marketing opportunity for partners like you that can say, hey, I have specialty in X and Y industry here. So definitely take a look at those gaps as you guys are seeing some of this data.
Okay, so we already talked about demand. We already talked about subscription, actual clients. Now let's talk about the fastest growing states. Even though Oregon was not part of the top 10, it's the state that it's one of the emerging markets that we have seen so far. We increased the leads 116% compared to 2024. Utah, Maryland, Minnesota, Oklahoma. Here we're seeing different states that they are getting more interested at Odoo. They're starting to get to know what's Odoo about. Even though we start with California, with Texas, with New York, for example, we have New Jersey in top six. So these are some other states that it will be worth a try to start getting an idea what type of businesses we have here, so we can actually get into them and offer them a new solution for them.
Yeah. Also think about it. Maybe you are located in one of these states. This could be a great way for you to now become a partner and take advantage of the lack of partners there, but the increase for Odoo as it you see on the screen. So now let's also look at the top 5 industries with the highest growth year over year. Number one, we're going to see it's food, hospitality, and tourism. About 141% growth as we compare year over year. This is showing us that this is probably one of the fastest growing sectors in the United States, especially in some of these key cities like New York, LA, in California. You're seeing a lot of tourism, and this could be, again, a vital opportunity for partners like you to take advantage of. As Alex mentioned, construction and renovation, again, you're seeing that this is equivalent to about 94% growth year over year, nearly doubling, and already it's the number 2 sector by total volume. Health, social, and welfare is also another major sector that you're seeing growth. And this is actually very unique because typically when you look at health, you also look into compliances.
Yes.
So partners that can handle HIPAA compliance or other sorts of compliances, this is a sector for you. It's definitely in demand, and Odoo can provide support there. You see number 4, highest growth industry year over year is finance, legal, and insurance. Again, this is something that we've already seen with the leads we generate. It's something that is still rising in demand every single year, and it's an industry that is looking to modernize. And why not start with Odoo?
Yep.
And then lastly, entertainment and media, about 54% growth year over year. It's still an emerging segment, but again, can be a place where partners like you who have experience implementing software for the entertainment or media industry can take advantage.
Yep. Okay.
And then let's look at a snapshot of the United States as a whole. So we've seen about a 49% growth projected for 2026. And again, we're looking at the top 10 leads generated from January of this year through May. And right now we're seeing California still remain number 1. So it's bringing in about 15% of all the leads we have brought in these past few months. Texas is number 2 at 9.5%, followed by Florida and New York, roughly about 7.5%.
Okay. Something that I would add here before jumping into other slides, take a look at Arizona. Arizona, it was outside in 2025, and now it's top 6. So these are some insights that we're giving you that I think are interesting. There are some states that they are growing. They're looking for Odoo. We have interest. We need partners that they know about their industries, their specific industries, and people that are located in those states to help us not only spread the word, but actually start implementing and giving these services and actually giving a profitable business. We remember that the title of the webinar is How to Build a Profitable Business with Odoo. Here we're giving you the opportunity. Later on, we're going to show you how this will turn into a profitable business model.
Yep.
Okay, so we talk about United States. Let's do the same analysis with Canada. We're going to talk the same market demand, close leads or close deals, and growth opportunities.
Yep.
Okay, so we're here instead of states, we're talking about provinces. So top provinces by lead generation. The first one will be Ontario, Quebec, and British Columbia, and then we have Alberta and Manitoba. Something interesting, if we compare 2024 to 2025, we have seen an increase of 20% of leads. Sorry about the small typo, but 20% of leads in 2025. And something that I will add here, Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, and Alberta, we have almost more than 60-70% of the market of lead generated in these states. We have a lot of provinces that we can take into account, but even though we have smaller quantity of provinces compared to United States, here we will see a little bit more focus where the interest or leads or industries are coming from.
Yep. And now let's look at the top 5 industries with the most generated leads for Canada. So across Canada, we're seeing again wholesale and retail. This is actually a bigger percentage. It's about 1 in every 5 leads that we are generating in Odoo is actually in the wholesale and retail space for Canada specifically. We follow that up with construction and renovation. Again, number 2 in volume. It's one of the fastest growing ones with nearly doubling at 63% growth year over year. We see again manufacturing. So just like we saw in the United States, manufacturing is still a steady in demand industry even for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We see IT communication and marketing take 9.5% of all our leads. Again, high volume here. Again, still a maturing market.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, you see food, hospitality, and tourism being our number 5 slot for the most leads generated. Again, it's smaller than wholesale and retail, but this is one that you also see very high year over year growth at about 95%. And now let's look at the top provinces with the most subs. So interesting here, even though Ontario is about 1/3 of the Canadian population, so you would kind of make sense to have the most generated leads. Quebec is actually where we have our most subscriptions. It's equivalent to almost half the market, about 43.2%, followed by Ontario at 28%. Alberta at about 12%, and then British Columbia and Manitoba a little bit lower here. So what we're seeing here, again, a very interesting scenario where even though Ontario is generating the most leads, Quebec is actually adopting Odoo the most.
Yep. Okay, now let's talk about top industries with more subscriptions, or what industries are our clients from. So we have wholesale and retail. 9.5% of the subscriptions or the clients that we have in Canada, they're from wholesale and retail. Second, we have manufacturing and maintenance. Again, wholesale and retail and manufacturing are the ones that are on top 2, top 3, just as United States. But actually, if you take a look at it, it makes sense. People that they have issues with their business in warehouse, managing stock, but also manufacturing, because we need to take into account the cost of goods sold. Maybe in terms of manufacturing, we need to take into account compliance so we can do imports and exports. Maybe we need to fulfill a full analysis of the whole supply chain. So these are industries that they have a lot of pains, that they're looking for Odoo, and makes sense that they're looking for Odoo, but also that they are top 2, top 3 of the industries where we have the most clients. And then we have construction and renovation again. Over half of subscriptions are new. This is something interesting. Even though we have 4.3% of the subscription in Canada in this sector, over half of subscriptions are new. Here, Canadian partners are actually getting into this opportunity. In the last 2 years, half of the subscriptions that we have from construction and renovations, they have been created. So this is an example of Canadian partners getting an industry or getting ready to get the most advantage of the insights of the market. That does not mean that the market is full. We have a lot of market that we need to fill out. And there's another insight that I would like to give you. IT communication marketing, again, professional services, people actually taking into account cost, margins, and last but not least, food, hospitality, and tourism. Something that I will add here another interesting thing will be restaurants. So people that they need a point of sale, but they need to manage inventory, they need to manage sales, they need to manage accounting. I would like you to share or to try to take a look at this industry, not only as industry, but also as processes. Which processes are the ones that are looked the most? What we have seen, everything regarding inventory, wholesale, and warehouse, we're seeing that in different ways, they are part of our top industries.
Yep.
Fastest growing provinces. So we already talked about leads. We already talked about subscriptions. Now let's talk about the emerging markets that we have in Canada. Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, those top 3 of the provinces that we have in Canadian market. However, something interesting. We are seeing also, we have less amount of provinces compared to the United States. We have, but what we can see here, it's Ontario and Quebec. They are growing. Even though we have most of our market there, We are growing in most markets. Technically, Odoo is growing in interest, in subscription and customers, and also in new people getting to know Odoo.
Yep. So now let's look at the top 5 industries with the highest year-over-year growth. So we're going to see health, social welfare for the Canadian market top that list. Roughly looking at about 112%. So again, more than doubling, one of the fastest growing sectors in Canada. We see food, hospitality, and tourism becoming one of those markets as well that's growing. And like Alex mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities here, especially when you focus on the pain points and the specific processes for these types of clients. We see transportation and logistics now take over slot number 3. So this is, again, another emerging vertical here, strong acceleration from a small but growing base.
Yep.
We see construction renovation here as well. Again, it leads both lists as number 2 by volume and top growing verticals here. And then lastly, we see a new player in the game, utilities, energy, and water. Roughly about 61% growth year over year. So like we have taught, that this is also a small but a highly accelerating market for you to focus on here. And now let's look at 2026 snapshot of Canada. So overall, we're seeing about 26% growth as we specifically look here. Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, some of our most generated leads come from that when you look at this year. Again, January through May 2026. And again, it's no surprise most of the Canadian population lives here. So you're seeing always the highest amounts of leads being generated here in this sector.
Perfect. Okay, so we already seen United States and Canada market research by industry. We know what's going on in the Odoo ecosystem. And I would like to start the business, the profitable business, with why many partners aren't profitable. So as of now, we do have partners. The thing is that the partners that we have, first of all, we have more demand that we can actually get. And second, the partners that we have seen that they're not profitable. This is a business. And a business, for it to be a business, we need to have some margin. We need to have some profits. What we have seen is that people that sell to any industry, what do I mean by this? They are not doing marketing, or they are not doing a specific communication to a specific niche. You can sell to all the industries. You can sell to all type of businesses. However, you need to speak in their own language. You need to talk with them in their specific pains. A restaurant, a pain will be different for a wholesale distribution company. So that's the first thing. Second thing, they don't have a defined ICP. And that's a little bit, it's kind of related to the thing that we spoke. If I don't know who is my ideal customer, if I don't know who is my ideal customer profile, what type of companies I can start working with, again, I can target all of the companies, but you need to start with just one part of the pie, with just one part of the cake. They lack of standardized delivery. So we already focus on defining our client. Now, when we have a client, maybe we will have a restaurant, or maybe we will have a wholesale distribution that they might be kind of similar processes, and we are not standardizing how much time and how much hours am I spending of those. So technically, we are in a business or an ecosystem where we sell hours, time of material. If I sell 100 hours and I use 150 hours, I don't have any profit there. That will be a loss, a project with loss. They don't invest in marketing. So we already talked about standardized process, the operations. We already talked about the strategy, but also how we're going to get the leads. We have partners that they don't invest in marketing. We don't know how they're going to actually increase their leads, therefore increase their opportunity, therefore their customers. And that's kind of related. They expect leads to come in on their own. Maybe we will have a network. Maybe we'll be starting with referrals with friends and family, or people that we know that they need an ERP or a solution for their businesses. However, we must not stay there. We shouldn't feel just comfortable. We should try to get other channels so we can continue doing leads. When we sell services, we sell hours. So sales are oxygen to the company. Why? Because we don't have a stock. We sell times, we sell hours. If I don't have sales, technically I don't have cash flow. Therefore, the business will be in. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's very interesting. In essence, it looks like that a lot of partners that are not profitable, they don't have a defined business plan, like you mentioned. They don't
Exactly.
know essentially who they want to focus on. They don't understand how they want to focus on. And that's something amazing where you can actually work with Odoo's team here, our partnership teams, where we can help you identify for a lot of the new kind of emerging entrepreneurs. If you are part of that group, we can definitely provide some support here and kind of tell you where to focus.
Perfect. Now, what does it mean to be a profitable partner? So we already talk about why partners are not profitable. So, okay, Alex, what do I need to do
Mm-hmm.
for me to avoid those situations? So, four drivers, four pillars, or four things that you should take into account when you want to have a profitable model. The first one, margin. There's a rule of thumb that when we sell services, we should have at least the double of the cost. So if I want to have an MVP, if I want to start, at least I hope that you have a margin of 40% of more of the cost that you have or the price that you show. How we can get into this margin structure? First, we need to define package and structure pricing. Second, a fixed scope from day one, especially if you're a new partner or if you would like to be a new partner, if you would like to start implementing ERP, we already have an opportunity. If I want to start, the best way to start is take into account all the processes, do a discovery call with the client, select the processes that we will be doing for phase one or we will be delivering, and use that as a fixed scope. No new features yet, no new development. Start with something standard, and once you start, you can start delivering and start standardizing all your processes. Once we have that, what we'll try to look at is a repeatable methodology by vertical. If I know that every time I jump into any type of inventory companies, auto parts, hardware stores, medical supplies, all of those companies that they have inventory, maybe I can start having some methodology of some specific processes. Example, the way that I do the catalog. How do I segment by categories? I can start creating my own templates. We at Odoo, we have some templates that we can share with you. But once you start getting insights, and since you're the expert in an industry, you will start identifying that maybe you can create your own templates and create your own methodology so you can use it and you can have more repeatable new clients. And something important, avoid unnecessary custom development. Even though one of the things that we like about Odoo is that we are able to do developments, try to do a good business analysis and identify if a development it's worth it or not. When we do developments, we might have technical debt. So the key is not about the development, it's about whether if it's worth it or what happens if we look for a workaround in the process or with the system. So that's driver one. Driver two, multi-year. When we sell these kind of services, when we talk about multi-year contracts, we talk about predictable revenue. When you sell a system or when you implement a system, it's something that you don't want to change in a year or 2 years. It's something that you will try to create a strategy to maintain it 3 to 5 years at least. So how we can actually be delivering more multi-year contracts, not only but for licenses, but also for your support, for your maybe new phases, maybe new business unit. We can start creating sales incentive with multi-year contracts. Once we have a multi-year contract, that will help us to have a higher retention. It's easier for me to do an upsell of a client than getting new clients. That can help me to have a planned revenue stream and a long-term strategic relationship. When we talk about revenue stream, we talk about cash flow. We can predict the cash flow that we have. And the long-term strategic relationship, again, maybe we start with phase one with one business unit. Later on, maybe you sell other type of services as well. You can actually start delivering other IT consultancy services to this type of clients. Now, another part, expansion. Again, I already talked a little bit about this. Maybe we start with a client, but what happens if we identify they have new business units? That's when we create a long-term relationship. When we identify new business units, new modules, or new processes from the company, that's when we can do strategic upselling. And that's when operational scalability and hiring becomes important. If I want to sell more, I can do some things with AI. I can try to enhance my processes. I can have a methodology, but there will be a time where you need to hire more people. I won't say that will be linear. We need to have processes documented so we can have, but there will be a time when you will need maybe one or two more people.
Mm-hmm.
So do not avoid or do not be afraid of growing. Growing hurts, but growing, we like growing. We like growing in terms of business, in terms of module, in terms of new business, in terms of new countries. Maybe we start United States and then we go to Canada. Maybe we will go to global implementations, etc. And something that I like a lot about Odoo, and I always suggest to the partners, is where is the opportunity in the specialization or the verticals? Start getting one or two industries. If I'm the best in manufacturing because I have know-how, because I used to work before in manufacturing, start with that specific industry and start creating clear use cases. How would you actually improve efficiency? Once we have that, we tailor the message and we can create a faster delivery. The best way of getting advantage of all the market research that we told you that we have an opportunity, it's by starting into verticals, having some specialization in a specific vertical and niche. What do you think about these four pillars?
I
Spelling.
really like them. And specifically, when we're talking about specializations, that's something that I oftentimes tell a lot of new partners that Odoo out of the box, we're an agnostic platform. But this gives an opportunity for you as a partner to specialize in a specific industry. Make that your niche. Make yourself the expert in that, where clients will now need to go to you. And on top of that, when we talk about avoiding unnecessary custom development, again, I totally agree with that. At the end of the day, we want to do what's also best for the end client. We want to take into account upgrades, reducing complexity. So trying your best to maybe stick to out of the box and maybe adjusting our business flows to maybe fit Odoo, and only developing when needed is the best way to approach that situation. So thank you so much, Alex.
Perfect. So we already talked about the drivers of profitable business. Let's talk about the advantage of Odoo. Again, building a profitable business with Odoo. Why do we say that we have a profitable business? We have some pillars, but why with Odoo? And here's the other advantage that we have on the ERP ecosystem. When we talk about a traditional enterprise ERP implementation, we're talking about 75K to 250K of implementation on average. Of course, there are a lot of possibilities here. The licenses per user, again, these are an average. And maybe the typical go live is to 4 to 9 months or even more. Depends on the size of the business, depends on the scope, etc. And the partner hourly rate, we have 150 to 300 hours. The good thing about Odoo, I'm giving a quick overview, but don't get into the idea that Odoo is cheaper. The thing about Odoo is that it's more flexible and it helps us to go faster in the implementation. We don't think as Odoo as only as cheaper, but as flexible in developments, in the execution, as flexible in the price, yeah, but also flexible for the company and for the partner as well. Instead of maybe just getting a whole new project, what happens if we start doing bad phases? That's a good thing about Odoo. Starting with phases makes sense. That getting all the project, and when I talk about starting with phases, I'm talking about getting a whole business unit or 2 or 3 processes that later on it will be easier for me if I start out of the box to connect everything because everything's already connected. That's a good thing about Odoo. So instead of 4 to 9 months, we can do phases of 6 to 12 weeks.
Yep.
So that does not mean that I'm doing cheaper projects or less revenue that I was doing before. What
Yeah.
we're doing, we are building another way or another business model. Example 1, a quick start model. What's a quick start model? We target SMBs replacing spreadsheet or basic accounting software, or maybe people that they have 2 or 3 softwares. And here we try to focus on standardized out of the box, minimal customizations, 30 to 60 days sales cycle. It will be a faster sale. The implementation, this is a range. There are a lot of depends. There are a lot of things that we can take into account. But the objective, there will be volume and repeatable fast turnaround projects. If I start with this strategy, the objective is that you have every month 1 or 2 clients and that you're able to actually not only sell them, but also deliver them. That's one of the advantages that we have at Odoo. And on the other side, that does not mean that we cannot go to the mid-market. To the mid-market, the objective will be target growing companies developing a full ERP upgrade. So we have a higher implementation revenue, a higher sales cycle. Here we talk about consultancy and sales tailor. But the thing about this is we're offering larger contracts in a platform that it's easier or where we can start and be more flexible with the client. The best advantage of Odoo, it's not the price, it's the flexibility. Flexibility of starting maybe with a phase or maybe with a group or maybe with a 2 or 3 business unit, and it will be easier for us to deliver. So the goal with this business model will be margin and larger contracts, recurring multi relationships. And the best thing about this is that with Odoo, you can work with both business model. It's not cheaper implementations, it's flexible, faster, and also easier implementation for the partner.
Yeah. And I like to always make a few comments here because when I look at quick starts, I understand that this is also low hanging fruit for a lot of partners. A lot of these customers don't really have a traditional ERP. They're using single use softwares, or they're literally coming from Excel sheets and pen and paper. Where out of the box, Odoo already is the best that they're going to get. It not only has 75 plus modules, but it has tons and tons of functionality ready to go. So for them, it's a no-brainer to go to a software like Odoo that can provide them so much functionality. Now, when you look at mid-market, again, their needs also change, where now they want to potentially look at a system that can be customized. And like you mentioned, it's not cheaper. Odoo can be more affordable in the licensing, but it saves more revenue for them to spend on customization and making Odoo more tailored for them. And that's the beauty behind Odoo. For the small SMBs, it's everything they need functionality wise, but for the mid market, it's a software that is affordable enough to now customize and make it your own.
Yeah. And before jumping into the other slides, something that I would like to add, I have seen those type of partners that they start with an SMB or quick start module, then they jump to a mid market. I have seen partners that they stay with one of those, and I have seen partners that they work with both of them. Some quick tips that I can give to you is if you are working with both markets, try to identify specific KPIs of what is a quick start project and what is a mid market. Why? So you don't have to sell a quick start to a mid market just to get the project, because that will be other things. That's part of the services or the things that we at Odoo we can help you at. We can help you with the consultancy of how to build a business model that is profitable. We already give you some pillars. Second, we already give you 2 options of the business model that we can work with. And here, we can give you some common mistakes of new partners. So you don't have to start from scratch. What's the problem with new partners? They lack of packages, pricing, and cost. If we go to Quickstart especially, if we are not standardized, if we don't have an idea of the package or the pricing, the cost. And when I talk about package, it's not just about pricing. It's about the scope, the processes, the modules that we can fit in that package. For mid-market, this works as well. If I don't have the idea, the cost per hour, the price per hour, and the margins that we might have, and if I don't know, if I am not pretty good at estimating the processes, that will be a mistake that it doesn't matter if it's Odoo or if it's another ERP. The thing is that we need to help you out with defining the business model.
Yep.
New partners, lack of ideal customer profile, and this is I will say it's a happy problem, because when we have new partners, they are excited. Like, where do you want to start? Everywhere. I want to start with all the industries. It's good, that excitement, but in terms of strategy, let's start with 1 or 2. Once we work with 1 or 2 industries, we can jump to other industries as well. If I don't want to work with industries, at least with processes. Don't try to do everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 things: industry, sector, processes, or a specific type of business, an ideal customer profile ICP. Structure marketing. We need to have a way of generating leads. Here, we're going to show you some tools that we have for you. And last but not least, we need to be sure that we have profitability per project. To give you an idea, there was one partner that I worked with him. We were doing good. We were doing sales every other month of 2-3 sales per month. And by the end of the quarter, we realized that we overused hours. So even though we have a lot of sales, even though we have a lot of leads, we were not profitable. So these 4 key elements, they're important for new partners. And we have a tool that can help you to solve this. Something that you would like to add here, Kalim?
No, makes all sense.
Perfect. And that's where we're going to show you the strategy for 2026, which is the partner roadmap. What's the partner roadmap? It's a strategy that we developed here at Odoo San Francisco for our channel. We start with the business plan. We start with the basics of the business model, what type of business you would like to get, the ideal customer profile, the ICP, the package and pricing. We also take a look into the trainings. What do we mean by trainings? If you are selling Odoo, you need to get to know Odoo, under process, under workflows, under business flows. And last but not least, sales structure. We need to have an initial sales structure. Once we have a business plan, then we jump to the second part, which is marketing 101. Here, we teach you how to create use cases, how to create strategic content. And when I say strategic content, it's not only about webinars and blogs and everything, it's how we should structure to be positioned to SEO or to AEO, which is the new AI search engine optimization, but for AI. We show you how to track. We cannot improve something if we're not tracking it. So we need to start knowing how to track where the leads are coming from, where the clicks are coming from, which of my content is best, which of my channels is the best that we use, what type of businesses am I actually better at. We teach you how to track. Maybe we talk about your first campaigns. We can help you with your first campaigns and start with the basics. At least I hope you have a landing page, a proposal, a quote, and a pitch deck or some slides to actually show your value. And last but not least, strategic marketing. Here we show you how to create ads in a more structured way. We try to enhance referrals. We try to see some co-marketing strategies. We have done some trade show strategies that later on, if you become a partner, it will be interesting for you to talk with your partner manager or account manager. Here we help you with industry verticalization and optimization on ROI. How this works. We start with the business plan, which is mandatory for all new partners. This will be an e-learning. We will show you an e-learning where we have some templates, where we have some content, and the objective is that you fill out those templates with your account manager. We will help you out with that. Once you finish step 1, step 2, we will have a basic marketing 101. We show you how to start doing your own marketing. Here, partner manager starts helping you to create the leads. And if you fulfill step 1 and step 2, you might be selected to step 3. Here, Odoo helps you with this strategy. I will help you to create a strategy. I will help you to create maybe a Google Ads campaign, maybe a LinkedIn campaign. Maybe you would like to see a customer journey. I have worked with over 110, 150 partners, and I'm pretty sure that I can help you out to create any strategy that is focused on your vertical and your optimization. So our team is ready here to help you out to get advantage of that market. And just to give you an idea how it looks like, these are some examples of slides of the templates that we have for you. This is part of the partner roadmap. This is the business plan. It's an e-learning that we will give you access. It's something that the valuable that we're giving for you, where we have some videos. There it's me, looking amazing. I hope so. Some videos with the slides and with the templates. So this is how it looks like, the partner roadmap. If you become a partner, if you would like to be part of this business model, here is where we're gonna help you to actually get advantage of all the opportunity that we have so far.
Yep.
Yep.
So now let's look at the opportunity to become a partner, and let's try to understand some of the content that Alex was mentioning and see how the partnership program can help support that. But before we do that, let's understand what does it mean to be an Odoo partner. Essentially, Odoo partners are providing services to end clients. What are those services? They can range from business consulting, accounting, hardware infrastructure and network support, custom software development, marketing agencies, but most importantly, they are software implementers. And when we look at the Odoo partnership program, I like to look at this 360 growth program. Essentially, the first place we're going to provide support when you become an Odoo partner is providing commercial and functional support. We do this in a few ways. Every account manager or every partner here gets a dedicated account manager. Their job, as Alex was mentioning, is working with helping their partners build strategies and grow, and also providing that pre-sale support that is oftentimes needed. You will also get a dedicated customer success manager to help manage customers that you've already brought onto Odoo. We also are able to provide functional support. Here in SF, we have all our BSAs and our functional consultants here to provide support whenever needed. Number 2 is tailored training session. You mentioned the importance of getting trained, and I can't emphasize that enough. New partners that enter our ecosystem are even new to Odoo, so you need to spend time to learn the system and make that your expertise. And we do that in two ways. One way is a self-taught route where you can get access to our e-learning platform and watch tons and tons of tutorials on pretty much all the modules we have. But that does take time, and you are doing it at your own pace. Option number two, which I always recommend, is a functional training session from Odoo itself. We call it our PLO, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but it's our dedicated training where we help not only partners understand functionality, we go over implementation methodology, and we focus on advanced configurations. And again, it's instructor led, so you are getting taught by the source. Number three is giving you access to Odoo SH. Odoo SH is not just a hosting option for Odoo. It's an entire platform. And learning how to utilize Odoo SH to maximize things for customers is going to be pretty crucial, and it functions as a sandbox for you. So you are able to gain access to Odoo SH as a partner. Number four, access to business opportunities. Not only, as Alex mentioned, your partner manager can work with you to help build marketing strategies, but we also generate leads on our own. Odoo spends tons and tons of money on marketing every year to help bring about brand awareness, bringing about more industries. So this could be a place where Odoo can also provide some leads to you. And then lastly, talking about monetization and growth strategies. So we'll talk about this a little bit more, but one thing you need to understand is as a partner, you are also able to build revenue by getting commissions from every single license that is sold. And let's take a look at some of that commission. So at Odoo, we essentially have three tiers for our partners. We have ready partners who are typically new partners to the ecosystem. We have silver partners that have been here for some time or sold a few projects. And then we have our gold partners. Typically, they've been in Odoo for some time or they have expertise. But essentially, you are seeing commission increase as you increase in tiers. Ready partners are getting 10% commission on every single license sold. Silver partners are getting 15% commission on every single license sold. And gold partners are getting 20% commission on every sold. And it is reoccurring commission. Every time your client renews your subscription in Odoo and you are still their partner, you will still get commission. And in the beginning, this is essentially the cherry on the top. It's an additional add-on on top of your implementation. But as your portfolio of clients end up growing, this could end up being a pretty significant chunk of change for you.
Something that I would add here, I have seen partners that they structure the business model in a way that commission helps them to boost, for example, marketing. So how they use it, the business is an implementation fee, but the commission is used to increase their marketing. So they will have a flywheel that it will never end because since the commission are recurring commissions, that's when they can continue increasing. If they have new clients, they use a commission. Those new clients will be for Google Ads, LinkedIn, marketing, a trade show or event. So there are a lot of ways that we can structure the business models with the partners.
Now let's look at the second form of commissions we give you. Not only do we give you commission on licensing, but we will also give you commission on Odoo SH. Like I mentioned, Odoo SH is not just a hosting option, it's a full platform. And it's actually the recommended hosting option, not only from partners, but from customers. It essentially takes away all the headaches of dealing with and maintaining a platform and lets Odoo take all of that. Not only backing up, replicating, but again, giving you an environment to develop on. And when you get a customer on Odoo SH, we will give you 50% of the hosting cost. So again, this is another way that you can gain some commissions per project. From there, implementation, development, support, consulting services, all the services that you provide as a partner, 100% go to you. Odoo does not take a single dime from this. And let's take a quick look at some of the average implementation rates. In the US specifically, it can be anywhere from about 125 US to over 350. In Canada, I've seen about 160 CAD to about 300 CAD. And this is hourly rates that you will dictate as a partner yourself. Obviously, your partner manager can work with you to see how we can be competitive, but this is totally up to you. And a lot of times the partners I've worked with will bundle their services together, and that's what they will give you in terms of hourly rate. Example being, they will give you custom development plus implementation and bundle that together into an hourly rate. And then lastly, the Odoo App Store. I believe we have one of the largest third-party app stores on the market.
I think we do.
Yeah. And partners can essentially sell their integrations or applications on there and profit about 70% from the cost. So it's a really great way to add some extra change. And not only can you potentially sell the applications on the market, but maybe you can have in app services. Think about every transaction that happens, maybe you can charge for that. So you can get really creative here as well to increase your revenue streams.
Yep.
And now let's take a deeper dive into what it takes to actually become a partner. At Odoo, we do have a membership fee that we will charge on an annual basis. For the United States, it's about $39.50, and for Canada, it's about 5,800 CAD. So paying the partnership fee is step one, and then getting certified or getting a functional certification is step two. It's required for even ready partners. As we can see right now on the screen, you're looking at some of the KPIs for ready, silver, and gold. A ready partner needs to have one employee certified in Odoo, and it has to be in the last 3 versions. As you are thinking about becoming a silver partner, you have to first meet the user requirements. So have brought in at least 75 new users in the past 12 months and have 3 people certified. One thing you were mentioning here is as you are looking to expand, you might want to hire new staff members. That's what we believe as well. As you become a silver or a gold partner, you're going to require more and more staff. And we also want more and more people to get certified. So once you hit 75 users, get 3 certifications, we will then make you a silver partner. And then likewise, if you want to become a gold partner, you need to meet our KPI of hitting 300 new users in the past 12 months and having 6 certifications. But let's first identify how we know if this program is a right fit for you. Essentially, I like to put it into 4 categories. If you are an IT firm or a IT business provider thinking about software development, system implementations, application integrations, you are a good fit for the partnership program here. Even independent consultants that want to focus more on functional implementations, accounting services, IT support, those can also be really great partners to the ecosystem. Now you have software development IT firms or software development firms. They can also be good partners in our ecosystem. Again, we have a third-party app store where you can develop your integrations, or you can focus on strictly customizing Odoo. And then lastly, we have the consulting and implementation firms, the large firms here. This could be great partners with Odoo where we can work together and strategize and bring Odoo to the millions. Now, let's go even further on where we should focus. I showed you this 360 of some of the benefits we get with Odoo when you become a partner, but let's also take a deeper dive. And they're going to essentially complement a lot of the things that you were talking about, Alex. For example, when it comes to sales volume and sales growth, working with your partner manager hand in hand is going to be a great way to help us help you grow your sales, whether that's us leveraging our resources or providing resources for you. Visibility and recognition. Odoo's name is known around the world. We have over 21 offices, and we want our partners to ride our coattail. Not only will we post you on our website as an official partner, but we even post you on our pricing page. So when customers are ready to go, they could immediately select a partner. We give you access to brand assets where you can put the Odoo logo on your own website. And again, get that visibility you need. And again, training and education. We touched base on the PLO that we talked about, but we also have technical training for, let's just say, those software developers that want to focus specifically on developing on Odoo. We can teach you how to develop on Odoo and how to do it successfully. We even have dedicated master classes. Let's just say you do want to focus on one of the industries that we talked about. Let's just say it was manufacturing. We can give you a dedicated master class in manufacturing so you can elevate your expertise. And we could even help you with visibility and road mapping. Just like you mentioned, our big initiative now is to help partners build this roadmap so you can enter the partnership and become successful. So there's a lot of places where we are putting a lot more focus on for partners like you. And now let's go ahead and summarize some of the stuff that we talked about. We talked about the business model, understanding that Odoo itself is a scalable SaaS module. It's again flexible, it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely affordable, it's open source, it provides so much out of the box, and it can function on SaaS. So this is again a perfect model that you can scale up. There is a lot of solid gross margins here on implementation. Like I mentioned, it's not that it's cheaper, but it gives the client an opportunity to spend more on implementation, which can be more revenue for you as a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And recurring installed basis. This could be something that we can replicate and grow this business model with Odoo.
Mm-hmm.
Then we look at the opportunities in North America. Again, we understood that North America is the market to focus on. And it's actually been one of the markets that Odoo itself has been focusing tremendously on. It's one of the largest markets globally and one that we see growing every year. And we could, again, use you guys as partners to help define core verticals and make those opportunities more specialized for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, we have this partner roadmap that we are focused on building out and implementing with a lot of our new partners to help ensure that you guys have the tools you need to be successful.
Yeah, something important about this, the go live of this partner roadmap, it's July. So we're starting this month with this. If you became a partner, if you would like to be part of this business model, this will be something that we can start working with you. It will be a roadmap. Well, we will be progressing by executing the parts that we have. And once we identify the best partners and the ones that are actually committed and they're actually doing all of the exercise that we have, that's when we're going to do strategic support with them.
And again, just to kind of re-emphasize understanding if this is the right business for you, we went over some of the types of profiles that we are looking for. The IT companies, consulting, implementation firms are looking to build a business around Odoo. We went over some of the commitments, the business plans, and understanding, you need to understand who your ICP is. You need to have a business plan. We need to maybe figure out how we're going to market ourselves. We went over some of the minimum investments. So we went over the minimum investment, which is $39.50 to become a partner in the United States. But we also have the price here for anybody in Canada. So 5,800 CAD is the partnership fees for any Canadian partner. And then we also, again, want you guys to focus on specific verticals. Try not to sell to everybody. Make yourself niche, make yourself unique, make yourself the expert in that specific industry.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And last but not least, before saying goodbye to everyone, now is the time. If you would like to have the slides, if you would like to have all the market research that we have for North America, on the next slide, we're going to have a QR code or odoo.com/r/KDO. Here you will have a form, fill it out, and we will send it. We will send the slides to all of the people that are looking at this.
Yep.
And well, to wrap up, the market is already there. So what sets you apart is your structure and execution. The
Yep.
idea of this roadmap is to help you out to actually execute and get advantage of the market that is going on.
And then last but not least, we are actually also hosting one of our largest events in North America coming up September 2nd and 3rd, right here in San Francisco called Odoo Experience America. It's probably one of the best experiences I've had where not only you are able to meet partners and customers, but tons and tons of talks about the next version of Odoo, best ways to, increase profitability like we were talking about today, additional kind of master classes. So a lot of resources will be available at Odoo Experience, which you can sign up for free. And we look forward to seeing you guys there.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Here are some contact info. And if you need anything from our side, send us an email, send us a message, and we will help you out.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kalim.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.